Okay, I'm looking here. There's not really anything else that I need to do at this time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pass the turn on to you. Sweet. Let me go ahead and draw for turn. Okay, I like this. So I'm going to go ahead and tap Karametra's Acolyte because I have 12 devotion, so I have 12 mana. And I'm going to go ahead and cast Archetype of Endurance. So creatures I control have hexproof, and creatures you control, as my opponent, lose hexproof and is not able to gain hexproof. Yeah, no, your creatures have hexproof. Mine don't. Yeah, no, it's a really good card. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it seems like a really good card in general. I feel like I like it a lot. So, yeah, no, I think I'm satisfied. I'm not going to attack you at this point in time. I'm just going to pass turn. Yeah, let me go ahead. Sweet. Let me draw. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really liking what's on the board right now. So for 2 colorless and 2 white mana, I'm going to go ahead and cast Wrath of God, destroying all creatures, and these creatures can't be regenerated. What? Yeah, Wrath of God will destroy all creatures on the battlefield. So it destroys both your creatures and my creatures. Hold on. I don't understand. My creatures have hexproof. Yeah, your creatures have hexproof, but Wrath of God affects all creatures on the battlefield. They don't just specifically go after one of your creatures. Okay, no, that's just confusing. I thought if you had hexproof, that your creatures wouldn't be targeted. Yeah, it's true. Hexproof protects your creatures from spells or abilities your opponents control. That is true. But Wrath of God doesn't just target any of your creatures. It affects all creatures on the battlefield. Okay, hold on. That's in my mind that's wrong. Can I explain how I see hexproof in general? Okay, let's go down this rabbit hole. Just go ahead and hear you out. Okay. So, currently with Archetype of Endurance, my creatures have hexproof. Is that correct? Yes, your creatures have hexproof. And with hexproof, they can't be targeted by spells and abilities my opponents control. So, you as my opponent can't target any of my creatures because Archetype of Endurance is on the battlefield. Am I correct? Yes, your creatures have hexproof, which would mean that they wouldn't be able to be targeted by spells or abilities that I control as your opponent. And basically, because my creatures have hexproof, since they can't be targeted, Wrath of God shouldn't affect any of my creatures. Am I right? Wrath of God destroys all creatures, so it's not specifically targeting a specific creature of yours, just affecting all creatures in general. Okay, let me explain it in a further sort of situation. Okay, let's go a little deeper. So, my creatures have hexproof. We've gone over this multiple times. Yeah, that's correct. And with my creatures, they shouldn't be targeted by spells or abilities you control. That's correct. Okay, so we got that out of the way. So Wrath of God goes ahead and selects creatures. Yeah, you could say that we're the card specifically choosing creatures. So basically, all creatures are chosen, no other things are chosen, like lands, artifacts, enchantments, nothing else is chosen. Basically, only creatures are selected. Yeah, and it's not destroying anything else, just creatures. So we could also say that creatures are targeted. Yeah, I could see where you're coming from, where it's targeting creatures only. So if creatures are targeted, then they're potentially targets for the spell, which would also mean, because hexproof is on the field, that it's targeting my creatures. But with hexproof, it shouldn't happen. My creatures shouldn't be targeted because they have hexproof. I mean, if we're talking in that sort of situation, I could see where you're coming from, but that's not how the hexproof ability works. Basically, with the hexproof ability, it doesn't allow me to target as your opponent any of your creatures, but with a board state effect, a board wipe effect, it will allow me to get rid of your creatures. So what you're saying about the hexproof mechanic is that it only protects individuals from single targeted spells, but not board wipes? Yeah, you could say that. Then why come up with a rule like this? Yeah, it's a very confusing mechanic, I agree, but again, that's how Wizards of the Coast had set up this mechanic. Basically, it protects you from target spells, but it doesn't protect you from board wipe spells. That is a dumb mechanic. Yeah, that's something that shouldn't happen, but apparently a lot of the players went ahead and want to be very literal on it. And it's literal because players are pretty literal when it comes to cards. Yeah, Hexproof's not really that good of a mechanic. Wizards of the Coast needs to create a better mechanic.